Okay, well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Fauzi, and here I am from the class of English Teaching Learning Program, Tarbiyah Faculty, State Islamic Institute of Madura. And here I'm going to make a video explanation of my thesis writing. I will explain about my thesis content. And here is the video. Check it out. Well, let's start from the first, and that is my title. My title is here. My title is about the use of quizzes as e-learning website in English Intake Class 5th semester of English Education Study Program, State Islamic Institute of Madura. My thesis is qualitative thesis, so my thesis consists of 5 chapters. Chapter 1 is introduction, chapter 2 is review of related literature, and chapter 3 research method, chapter 4 is about finding and discussion, and chapter 5 is conclusion and suggestion. In chapter 1, I will explain about my research context, my research focus, research objective, significance of study, scope and limitation, definition of key term, and the last is about previous study or previous research I use. Okay, let's start from the first, chapter 1. Chapter 1, research context. Well, nowadays, the development of technology has been sophisticated. 4.0 industrial revolution in our faces. It emphasizes in digital economy, digital era, digital artificial intelligence, big data, robotic, and etc. Or we can say it as disruption era. It is the development of technology which is very rapidly, so it can change the way or method in teaching and learning activity fundamentally. Yes, it can also make our activities in teaching and learning must be able to adapt with the change of era, with disruptive era. The education in disruptive era must be able to adapt with it. Or we can call it as education 4.0. This is a phenomenon which can make many needs are needed by the existence of industrial 4.0, where the human and the machine have the same degree to make a solution to solving the problem and make new solution, new innovation with it. Both of them development must be able to must be stable, no superior one. Both of them must support each other to make a new solution and innovation. Okay, the development of technology sometimes make the student can change or can teach and learn by considering the technology which can change the teachers and student learning style. The teaching and learning must adapt with the technological era, technological tools. When teaching and learning process, the student or the teacher teach the lesson by monotonous and broad way. This problem can solve if the teacher choose the best tool, choose the best or appropriate learning style and method in teaching and learning, especially in online class. The best way or the appropriate way in teaching and learning can make the student happy in learning the material, the lesson. They will be challenged and stimulated. The problems will be more difficult in this pandemic COVID-19. It is the problem, this the challenge in teaching and learning. In early 2020, especially in March 2020, Indonesia announces the pandemic spreads and can also influence the condition of education in Indonesia. So it makes the government, our government, and our Ministry of Education and Culture make new regulation in in education. It makes a new curriculum special for pandemic COVID-19. It makes the education can be online learning. Yeah, online learning makes the student and the teacher easy to teach, but there is a plus and minus in the online learning. So in the online learning, the teacher must use the appropriate way in teaching and learning, because the appropriate way in teaching makes the student understand the material well, although it is online, not face-to-face teaching and learning. Online learning, or we can say it as e-learning, we can use many applications to use, just like WhatsApp, Edmodo, Zoom meeting, Google Meet, Google Classroom, Room by Facebook and Instagram, and etc. Most of the students use WhatsApp as the main application in their learning process, especially in my campus. WhatsApp is the main tools or the main application used. Besides many tools we can use in online learning, sometimes the student and the teacher, I mean the student, especially the student, can be bored with teaching and learning in online learning we have to make a new solution to solve it. One of apps or application we can use is quizzes, to motivate or to make the students cheer up well in the teaching and learning. What is quizzes? Quizzes is an online assessment tool as a fun multiplayer classroom activity that allows all students to practice together with a computer, iPad, smartphone, and etc. We can access the quizzes in www.quizzes.com. The teacher can also use it as a tool or an app in giving assessment or assignment. One of the example is the use of quizzes in English syntax learning in English Education Study Program 5th semester D class. The teacher use the quizzes as online tool, online apps in the online learning. So the use of quizzes, it is very useful in the class. Besides, it is enjoyable to access and make the students more active in the class, motivate and increase the student happiness. What I want to research in this study, my focus is on how the use of quizzes in English syntax class, the use of quizzes as e-learning platform and English syntax class 5th semester English Education Department, State Islamic Institute of Madura. And the second is how is the student perception toward the use of quizzes as e-learning platform in English syntax class at 5th semester English Education Study Program, State Islamic Institute of Madura. I researched it by the objective of the goal to find out the use of quizzes as e-learning platform in English syntax class 5th semester English Education Study Program and Madura, or State Islamic Institute of Madura. And the second is to figure out the student perception toward the use of quizzes as e-learning platform in English Education Study Program 5th semester State Islamic Institute of Madura. And also this research can be significant to study theoretically or practically. Theoretically, this research expected to can develop the knowledge and comprehension in choosing good tool or the best tool in online learning. And practically, it will be benefit it will be beneficial or significant to the teacher, to me, or the researcher, to the institution, and to the student or the teacher. For the teacher can can choose the best tool to teach the student. The teacher can enrich the knowledge and develop online learning process by using quizzes, and also will know the process of quizzes itself and students' perception with it. For the student can know the perception toward the use of quizzes in online learning, and the student can be interested during learning process in the classroom. The research can be a reference to conduct another research to motivate them to make something new or something different in the next research. For the institution, this research can be a tool for the institution and can add the literature in the institution. For next is scope and limitation, and the scope in this research is the use of quizzes website in English in tech class. So and the limitation of this research is the students' English in tech class subject in English Education Study Program of D class 5th semester of State Islam Institute of Madura 2020 up to 2021 academic year. Many terms in this research such as quizzes, what is quizzes, what is e-learning, what is syntax, what is perception. The previous study I used in this research is the first is from Dia Kartikasari from University of Muhammadiyah Sumatera Utara by her thesis entitled The Implementation of Applying Integrated Learning by Using Quizzes to Improve Students' Achievement. And the study aims to investigate to improvement on student reading achievement through implementing integrated learning by using quizzes. And the second is the research by Nur Afifa, entitled by her title, The Implementation of Yuk Belajar in e-learning platform in English learning at SMP Islam Al Azhar 13 Surabaya. As it is to describe the application of Yuk Belajar and note the student perception of it. And the third is the research done by Yusolia Alfikusuma in her thesis, efektivitas penggunaan aplikasi quizzes dalam pembelajaran daring atau online, fisika pada materi usaha dan energi kelas 10 MIPA di SMA Masehi Kudus tahun pelajaran 2019-2020. And this study aims to know the effectiveness of using quizzes in physics, especially in closing activity and the use of quizzes in achieving the students' achievement. Well, that is in chapter 1, and let's go to the chapter 2. In the chapter 2, we will discuss about review of related literature. Yes, the literature related with this research. I will explain 3 main points. The first is e-learning, the second is quizzes, and the third is perception. Let's start from the first. For the first is e-learning. Definition of e-learning. What is it? E-learning can be defined as it regards with the use of electronic media in supporting teaching and learning process in the classroom, with considering the development of era. Well, there are at least two approaches in e-learning. First is self-paced, and the second is facilitated or instructor led or LED. For the first is self-paced. Self-paced is it is approach for the student free to study their own pace or explain individual or personal learning, yeah, based on the schedule arranged. For the second is facilitated instructor. It is the student and the teacher cooperate together in the teaching and learning. It can be make a discussion in teaching and learning. There is an e-learning approach. Two e-learning approach. For next is e-learning content. E-learning content e-learning contents of some content. For the first is e-learning content. It's like video, audio files, the document. It's like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or PPT, and yeah, other document. The second is e-tutoring. E-tutoring is the teacher give a feedback to the student through online tools. For example, is Zoom, WhatsApp, and others. For the third is collaborative learning. It is learning, discussion, and sharing knowledge to work together on a common subject or a common project. For the fourth is a virtual classroom. Virtual classroom means an instructor or the teacher teach remotely and in the real time the student group using combination of material, example of PowerPoint slide and video material, yeah. That is the component of e-learning. 4 component. Well, many function of e-learning itself, just like the existence of e-learning can make the student can be shorten the time and more economical, yeah, because more economical, and it facilitates the student and the teacher to the material well, and it can be accessed repeatedly. The characteristic of e-learning just like interactively, enrichment, also accessibility. Well, for the next is the use of e-learning itself. The use of e-learning is based on Gilles-Salmon theory. We have at least 5 stages of the use of e-learning, just like access and motivation, online socialization, information exchange, knowledge construction, and the last is development. Well, access and motivation as the first step which help the student become familiar with that online setting by learning how to use the course software. There are 3 stages or 3 aspects of motivation and aspect. There's first motivation, the second is access, and the third is arriving. Next is online socialization. In this stage, the student create an identity online and finding others to interact. For the next or the third is information exchange. Yeah, in this stage, the teacher should utilize activities to design the assignment that make the student active in the e-learning or online learning process. For the fourth is knowledge construction. The teacher develop activities that help the student to use higher order thinking, to be intentional in their online learning. Yeah, the main point is independent, to make the student to be independent learner. The last is development. In this stage, the teacher select activities that encourage reflective thinking by sharing the problem to test the assumption of student. The next is about the quizzes. The quizzes is based on Summit Ball. Quizzes is web-based learning that significantly affect the learning process among foreign language learner. Yeah, quizzes is game-based educational app which bring multiplayer activities to the classroom and make the class exercise interactive and fun. To use this application or this website, we have to log in, or we can visit www.quizzes.com and then register. We can register by using our Google account or Facebook, email, etc. And then we click on a teacher, and then we can select country, enter the zip code, and enter our name school manually by click can find your organization. Click add organization and click continue. Yeah, you can follow the instruction there. Well, after creating our account, the next step is to create the question for quiz. For that, first click open the quiz creator, and follow the instruction there. When everything is finished, please click save. After the quiz is finished, our next step is to give the quiz to the student, usually by giving it by using link. You can click it. After student click the link, ask the student to enter the game code, then enter their name. The student who have joined will be seen on the teacher laptop screen or smartphone screen. The quiz can be started after all students have joined the quiz. The teacher only has to click the word start there. Everything has advantage and disadvantage, and the advantage of quizzes is the student and the teacher can access it repeatedly. The student and the teacher can see their point. Teacher can see the achievement or assessment by using the quizzes. The disadvantage of using quizzes, the quizzes sometimes it cannot be used. It cannot be used if the school or we do not have a smartphone or computer, laptop, notebook, even data packet. The quizzes in English syntax class in the D class, it is used by the teacher to test the students comprehension about the material and check the student comprehension by seeing the result at the end of the game of the quiz. Okay, for the last we go to perception. What is perception? Perception is the organization or interpretation of stimulus in the senses, so that the meaningful and integrated response within the individual. That is the perception. The student perceptions toward e-learning, according to the term or technology acceptance model, believe that the technology is the technology is useful and technology easy to use significantly influence the user attitude toward the technology in the decision to adopt the technology. That is the chapter 2 related literature, and let's go to the chapter 3. Well, in chapter 3 we have research method I use in this research, in this thesis. So for the first, we will start from the research approach and kinds of research I use. Commonly, there are 3 kinds of research: qualitative, quantitative, and mixed method. Well, a study based on qualitative, it is a process of inquiry, has the goal of understanding a social human problem from multiple perspectives. If the quantitative, it is an inquiry to identify the problem based on testing a theory measured with numbers and analyzed using statistical technique. It is the definition. But the mixed method, it is the mixing of qualitative and quantitative method. But the researcher here is focused or design this research or this thesis into qualitative research, because the data will be described in descriptive from any statistical process. So this method is suitable with this research. In qualitative method, in this research, the attendance of researcher, it is very important, because the researcher attendance is also important in qualitative research to do the observation, to observe and get the data, then analyze the data that have already gotten. For next is research setting. The research setting used here is in the class 5th semester of English Education Study Program, Tarbiyah Faculty, Studies Islamic Institute of Madura, 2020 academic year. The next is the data source used by the researcher. In this research, the researcher used to answer the research question, used 2 types of data. The type of data used in the research is like primary data and secondary data. Primary data of the research is in the classroom, online classroom observation during the use of quizzes in the classroom. It's in the English Education Department, the class 5th semester. And the researcher also gave the questionnaire for the student to answer the student perception toward the use of quizzes, application or website here in the English in the class. And the second is secondary data. Secondary data obtained the result in order to supporting the primary data. In this research, the secondary data just like the interview, the material, the screenshot in the classroom, online classroom, in the using of the quizzes. And the data collection procedure here, the researcher or I use some of data collection procedure as like interview, observation, and documentation. Kinds of interview as like structured interview, semi-structured interview, and narrative interview. In this research, the researcher used a structured interview because the researcher has prepared the list of questions before conducting the interview. The second data collection procedure is observation. By this observation, the researcher obtained deep understanding and viewing of a whole learning process in the classroom includes the situation and activities occur in the classroom. For the third is documentation. In this research, the researcher, alright, used documents such as a lesson plan, screenshot in the classroom, in the online classroom to support data for the quizzes. For next is data analysis. Yeah, the researcher analyze the data by using data condensation, data display, and drawing, also verifying conclusion. For next is checking the data validity. The researcher check the validity of the data by using three strategies in validating finding as like triangulation. It is the process of consolidating the fact from the different individual type of the data or method which is used in the data collection in the description and themes in qualitative research. The researcher used the triangulation to see whether the data which is gotten by the researcher about the quizzes in English syntax learning is accurate or not. Well, first is member checking. In this research, the researcher asked the participants about the use of quizzes in English syntax learning. The second is external audit. In this research, the researcher asked other teachers in other subjects about the use of the quizzes. Is it true or not? For next is the steps of research itself. First is the researcher formulated the title and the research question based on the phenomena occur in the class of English Education Department, 5th semester, Studies Institute of Madura. Through these steps, the researcher got a real phenomenon about using quizzes as e-learning platform. The second, the researcher collected the data by doing observation in the English Education Department, but that is using quizzes. For the third is the researcher analyzes the data that is collected by using interview, observation, and also documentation. And then the last, the researcher writes the report, and the report result of this research is in the form thesis writing. There is in the chapter 3. Let's go to the chapter 4. Well, in the chapter 4, we focus on findings and discussion of the research itself. So, okay, let's start from research finding. For the first is research finding consists of two explanations here. The use of For the first is the use of quizzes website as e-learning platform in English syntax class, the class 5th semester, Studies Institute of Madura. And the second is the students' perception toward the use of quizzes website as e-learning in English syntax class at the class 5th semester IAIN Madura or Studies Institute of Madura. Well, let's start from the first. There is the use of quizzes website as e-learning platform in the English syntax learning at the class 5th semester Studies Institute of Madura. Well, in this research, there are 5 stages in the use of quizzes based on Gilly Salmon's theory. The 5 stages is like motivation, access and motivation, online socialization, information exchange, knowledge construction, also development is the last. The researcher has been observed, and the result of the discussion of the table and the thesis there. Yes, you can see the table. Based on the table above, which is about the result of the classroom observation about the use of quizzes as e-learning platform in English and tech learning, the researcher found that the teacher implemented four stages from 5 stages in the use of immediate or e-learning. Moreover, the stage which was not implemented by the teacher is online socialization. Yeah, that is. I will explain one by one. Yes, for the first stage, access and motivation. The student, the teacher, the student has a good access and motivation given by the teacher. For the second, online socialization, the teacher, based on the classroom observation, the researcher found that in the second meeting, the teacher didn't implement during the learning process of the use of quizzes. From the information exchange, the researcher found that the teacher always provide learning material in the quizzes every meeting. Yeah. For the next is knowledge construction. From the classroom and virtual or online observation, the researcher found that the teacher use this stage in every meeting, and also in the development or the last stage, there is development. The researcher also found that the teacher implement or use this strategy in the first meeting. Well, for the second point is the student perception toward the use of quizzes website as e-learning platform in English and Tech class. Di kelas 5 semester Institute of Madura. Yeah. In this explanation, the researcher also gave gave a questionnaire to the student, and this is the result. Okay, before continuing, this questionnaire consists of 10 questions. The researcher divided into two stages. First stage is for easy to use of quizzes, and the second stage is the usefulness of quizzes itself. Okay, from the first, it is about the use of easy to use of quizzes. Based on the table there, the student reported that their perception towards quizzes is easy to use in English and text learning, such as they also say that the quizzes is useful in English learning. Yeah. And the conclusion of the questionnaire, the 10 questionnaire there, is based on the result of the questionnaire, there are 2 perceptions toward the use of the quizzes e-learning platform in English and Tech learning. It is quizzes. They are easy and useful to use. Perceived is How to use quizzes interesting in English syntax learning. Quizzes is enjoyable in English learning. Students learn more easily using quizzes. Quizzes is efficient is English syntax. Students not find difficulty in to access quizzes because the school always they also can access the website the website of quizzes can access by them well because the internet is good. Well, moreover, perceived usefulness in the use of quizzes where student motivation in English syntax learning increased due to the use of quizzes. Students believe that quizzes is better way to learn English and English syntax and the student prefer to learn English by using quizzes to usual method. Well, just now was research trending. Let's go to the research discussion. Also consists of 2 points here: the use of quizzes as e-learning website and the student perception of it. Well, let's start from the use of quizzes website as e-learning platform in English syntax learning at the class 5th semester. Set Islam Institute of Madura. Okay, as I said before, based on the finding there are 5 stages that applied in the classroom. There's like motivation and access and motivation, online socialization, classroom development, and etc. Well, let's start from the first, access and motivation. And on the access of the quizzes, the teacher used and implemented this aspect not only in the class, not only it is in the virtual meeting. The teacher gave instruction to the student to use quizzes in English syntax learning. The teacher not only give to use quizzes but also give instruction. Give the steps to use quizzes on the screen. Using quizzes give benefit to the student, such as feeling also the readiness of the student. This will also have a benefit for the teacher, which help the teacher in giving appreciation to the student, which is who is not familiar with this application or quizzes. The way the teacher gave the student instruction in assessing quizzes is good, but it is less readable with someone's theory. Okay, the second if we see from the motivation is the teacher always give the motivation to the student in the classroom. Therefore this aspect was beneficial for both teacher and the student in using quizzes as e-learning platform. It not only helped the teacher handle the problem, but also the student success in using quizzes. That is similar with the Keller's theory. The student motivation is considered a crucial factor for success in online learning environment. This stage, the teacher gave motivation to the student. Well, let's go to the next. It is online socialization. Based on the observation result, in the virtual meeting, after the teacher used the stage of access and motivation, the teacher didn't ask the student to interact with others to use quizzes. Alright, the way the teacher interact with the student in English syntax learning is not suitable with the theory. Well, next is information exchange. Based on the observation result, the teacher also use or implement this stage in the classroom by providing material in the quizzes. Yeah, the teacher also give an assignment which provided by the teacher in making the student active in the classroom, in the teaching and learning. After doing assignment in the quizzes, the teacher discussed it together, then gave the student chance to do the assignment again. Well, for next is knowledge construction. In the knowledge construction, the teacher implement this stage by giving explanation and give example to the student knowledge construction in English syntax learning. Use quizzes. This stage did by the teacher in the classroom before asking the student to play quizzes. But the way of the teacher implement or use this stage is not suitable with the Salmon's theory. The knowledge construction is the activity which make the student construct their critical thinking skill. The teacher develop activities that help the student to use higher order thinking skill and become independent learner. For the last is in the development. And the development, based on the observation, the teacher implement this stage only in the classroom. Yeah, it is in the classroom. So the teacher gave the student homework in quizzes and also as development of this stage. Yeah, this stage is beneficial to the student, also the teacher. According to the Salmon, the development, the teacher select activities and encourage how to integrate their online discussion program to test assumption to help the student explore how to integrate their online discussion into other form of learning and reflect on their learning processes. Well, for the recent discussion, the second, it is about the student perception toward the use of quizzes website as e-learning platform in English syntax class at the class 5th semester IAIN Madura. And yeah, the conclusion of this discussion is the student perception toward the use of quizzes as e-learning platform in English learning was quizzes is easy and useful to use in English learning, English syntax learning. I mean, this perception made the student have desire to use quizzes in English syntax learning. It is suitable with the technology acceptance model, or we can abbreviate it as TAM. That is in the chapter 4. Let's go to the chapter 5. Well, for the last chapter, that is chapter 5, is talk about conclusion and the suggestion. Yeah. This also discusses the area of the study that has been explained in the previous chapter. This chapter is divided to part. Those are conclusion and the suggestion. In conclusion, the researcher conclude the research based on the finding. Meanwhile, the suggestion, the researcher gives suggestion for the English teacher, next researcher, and the readers. So like what I say before, in the conclusion, let's start from the conclusion. The conclusion consists two parts. First is the use of quizzes website as e-learning platform in English syntax the class 5th semester Study Learning Institute of Madura, and then The second is the student's perception on the use of quizzes website as e-learning platform in English and Tech Learning di class 5th semester IAIN Madura. Well, for the first, let's start from the first. The teacher implemented or used 4 stages from the 5 stages in the use of quizzes as e-learning platform based on the theory. Yeah, we know that the 5 stages just like access and motivation, online socialization, knowledge construction, information exchange, and also the development. Yeah. In the access and motivation, the findings show that the teacher gave the student give the student instruction before ask them to the meeting to access quizzes. But in the motivation, the teacher gave motivation to the student when they got problem in assessing quizzes in English and Tech Learning. Yeah. Well, and in the second, this is online socialization. The findings show that the teacher didn't implement this stage in the classroom in the classroom or virtual meeting. There was no online discussion which met by the student interact with each other during online learning by using quizzes. For the third is information exchange. Based on the finding, the teacher used this stage in the meeting. The teacher delivered the material directly and in the virtual meeting also. Explanation through the video. So and also use quizzes. And the fourth is knowledge construction. Based on the finding, the teacher use or implement this stage in the classroom by giving the student explanation before asking them to do assignment. But the teacher in the meeting didn't facilitate the student to make the student be critical thinking much. Yeah. Well, and the 5 it is development. Yeah. Based on the finding, the teacher implement or use this stage only in the first meeting by giving the student homework as to a reflection which can be part of development. Yeah, there is the first conclusion part, and the second conclusion from the student perception toward the use of quizzes website. There is, yeah, we know that based on the questionnaire given to the student, there are 2 questionnaire, 2 part of questionnaire to state that is perception easy. That is easy to use quizzes, and also the useful of quizzes itself. But for the first is perceived ease of using quizzes. That is interesting in English learning. Quizzes is enjoyable in English learning, and the student learn more easily by using these quizzes. Because the quizzes is efficient to the student. Well, and the student didn't find any difficulties to access the quizzes because the student have a good connection there in the online learning by using quizzes. Well, for the second perception is quizzes is useful for the student in English learning. Yeah, perceived usefulness of use quizzes were student motivation in English syntax. It increased the student due to the use of quizzes. Yeah, the student believe that quizzes is better way to learn English syntax English syntax, and the student prefer to learn English by using quizzes, the two usual method. In the chapter 5 here, I also give the researcher also give suggestion for the first for the teacher, also for the next researcher. For the teacher, this research result indicates that are using quizzes. The teacher didn't implement online discussion well. Yeah, the researcher suggests that the teacher should make online learning can be well to facilitate the student well, and also the teacher can make a discussion to discuss material and share the idea with each other to the student. And the teacher should ask the student to make a reflection to the student to solve the problem in problem in using quizzes in English syntax learning. The next researcher can conduct the research about the classroom interaction using quizzes in the teaching, learning syntax, and in teaching and learning English syntax. Hopefully, the result of this research can become inspiration for the next researcher or further researcher. Well, that is my explanation about my thesis. Thank you for your nice attention. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.